Hello everyone, this is welcome to stream 14. This is Stefan. So welcome. We are going to tonight I think we're going to finish this guy off. I didn't quite finish him last time, and I thought I was gonna do this offline, but couldn't really find the time, so we're going to do it now, and then we can decide what we'll do next. I think probably some other character. We'll see if someone has a particular idea, or I'll pick something. I have quite a big list, about 100 and something of them that we can pick from. Some characters that I already did at a smaller scale, in that we can also maybe try and upscale, so we'll see. This guy, I just worked on him just a little bit offline, show you the difference. I think I kept the previous version there, maybe not. Let me see. Yeah, so it's not much different. This was when we left off the stream on Monday, this one, and this is where we're at now. So just change this arm a little bit, and also changed a little bit the foot and that hand. So not much, no major change really. Spend 10 minutes. Sometimes I turn off the stream and then I realize, oh, maybe I should have done this and this real quick, and then I end up doing this and then working a little bit later. This time I didn't really spend that much time, so we're going to get back into it right away. Let me see. So I think for the most part there's not much really that I want to do at this point. It's gonna be more of a cleanup than anything else, making sure nothing outstanding too much. Things like this that are not quite clean, we can try and clean up a bit. Let's see. Not too sure what it's gonna be, we'll see. Go a little darker there since it's in shadow. Not much to do really. That is the sandals there. They have sort of a wider edge there, which is not necessarily a bad idea. Something we can do. I wonder if I should just thicken this bit. The spot is a little plain. I didn't do much with it. I wonder if I want to maybe more of a design, or if I want to just suggest a little bit more, lighting. It's gonna be one of the two, I think. See if okay, it's like this. I'll use one extra value, just it's a little less high contrast, just for those folds to look a little just a little easier on the eye. Let's see. I don't know, I feel like I don't really know what I want to do with this. Generally, I found not a very good idea to just scribble randomly. It's better to have a plan. I'm just going to clean up everything, and then I'll give me a little bit of time to sort of think about this. Sometimes that's what I do. I'll clean up everything, make sure everything's fine, and then hopefully this will give me while I'm doing this, I can have my mind thinking about what to do for something that I don't have the answer for. Okay. Is there anything that we can do better for this? I wonder. So if you guys remember, this is the version without the blue coat, but I added the cloak. So that's how it looks. It's probably all right. I think I'm okay with that. I think for the most part is okay. I mean, I don't know that I necessarily need. Let's check size real quick. It's a bit tall, but that's all right. Could take off 1 pixel around the probably take off 1 pixel in the bust. It look a little bit more heroic to if proportions leg to bust are a little different. Generally, there's a certain number of a certain proportion as when it comes down to length of the legs and torso versus head. Women have we do generally slightly longer legs, and also heroic comic book proportions generally have longer legs, a little bit longer than realistic legs, and shorter torso than like true to life proportions. So if you on a character like this, if you remove 1 pixel, generally this will look a little bit more heroic if the legs are a little longer, and can barely see the difference anyway, so that's fine. But the result will be that it'll look a little less tall, probably more in line with everyone else. Let's see, I think that's, yeah, I think we can do that compared to them. Yeah, I think that's fine. Looking if there's anything else I could add. I wonder if I should try and have this knife. Maybe a little tricky to get to read on with this. May have to, because even this, you could argue this is a little bit competing, the buckles versus the knife. So I'm not quite sure, so I'm just gonna copy the layer and do a variation real quick, just to see if it's worth doing or not. I'm not quite sure, so in case like this, I think it's better to just go for an alternate. So we'd have we'll do our little knife. I'll change the hue a little bit if I can for the metal, just to try and separate it from everything else. It reads a little better if there's a little blue tint to it. For here we're going to try and also get a small tint. So I don't mind the knife, but I think it's getting confusing with this, so I may have to, we'll see if we can just simplify the belt a bit, and so that everything reads against one another a little better. Let's see if we move down belt a bit so they don't crash into each other too much. So it would be this compared to that. I think I'm tempted to vote for the knife version. But I'm not sure if it's very understandable. It's kind of weird that this. I think maybe that's what we ought to do. Sure, it's clear that the knife goes under this belt, whatever. Because even this is a little strange, the way it's tucked in there. It's like in between those layers. So I think maybe in that case we ought to make something a little simpler where it's under this big pot there. So this would be the edge of that belt, and the knife would go just under this and then reappear underneath this. Or we do more of a, maybe this is better, just a bit, it's a bit too bright, but I think that's the idea. I'll try this. Cleaner, tucked under this and comes back from under the belt. Seems a little easier to understand that this. Sure what's happening. This is kind of what happens there, but finally it's all like mixed with those buckles. Seems a little difficult to get. So maybe this is better. Can maybe do a little bit of this. Let's see. I think I prefer this. Yeah, I think I will keep this version. Yeah, I'm gonna commit to this. What else? I want to simplify this a bit. Like this would be the PAX area, you know. It's a little harsh, so we're gonna clean this up because this those angles are a little hard. So with just a little bit, 1 pixel of anti-aliasing, that helps quite a bit, I think. Okay, can do a little bit of shading there. Very simple. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. So flip him. It's not too bad, I think. Now I can collapse everything, I think, into one. I'm not going to change that much at this point. I'm going to name him Ben-Hur. This can be shaded just a little better. Oops. Keep everything pretty simple there. Don't need to overdo this. Okay. And you know, in fact, I think it's probably all right to keep the that skirt a little simple. I don't know that I need to necessarily do anything too special with it. Could try and suggest some pinching around the waist maybe, but not even sure this is really necessary. This a bit. Yeah, I want to keep this fairly simple, I think, because something when you're trying to anything that you make, I think it's important to try and find a good balance between the areas where there's a lot of detail and the areas where the eye can rest a little bit. So in usually eye tends to focus in the areas with the highest contrast or detail, you know, and by detail I mean frequency of things, you know, like high frequency. This is like high frequency because there's a lot of different pixels of different values and hues in a small area, and this is kind of like a lower frequency. This is the lowest frequency because basically almost nothing happens, you see. So it's nice to have a little bit of everything, you know. I go from high frequency to like low to medium to high back to, you know, medium, trying to find a good flow of things. So I think we need to overdo this area. There's really not much benefit to gain from it. I think we'll keep it this way. Okay, his face is a little too pale. Doesn't have enough saturation in it, so this color in particular, I think I'm gonna just saturate just a bit, and then I'm gonna just bring down the value just a bit. Before, after. See, I think this is better for him. From here to there, here to there. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's our guy. I'm gonna give him. He's already named, so yeah, we're gonna give him a shadow as usual. Same little trick. Just copy a shadow from another layer. This one will do. And I think we're gonna call him done. That was a very quick. There wasn't much to do, but couldn't really find time to work properly on him. Overall, he's a bit more saturated than anyone else. Just gonna bring down saturation just a bit. See, this is the importance of I don't think on the stream you can actually see those very subtle changes in saturation. -9 is really not much, but I can see it on the stream on my screen, and I can tell the difference. And I think it's important for to make sure that it's in line with all the other characters. That's why I always have everyone on one page. Go before, after. Yeah, I think it's better. So he's definitely more in line with everyone else. So let's move him around one last time. I think I'm gonna just crank the levels a little bit. It's a little dark. This will bring a bit of saturation, but we can take care of that later. We'll have to bring back some of the saturation down just a bit. Yeah. That's more in line, I think. He's in line with everyone else. His face needs to come up a bit in saturation here. It's really not much. Pretty sure you can't see. Sorry guys, I don't think you can see any of this on the stream. The stream won't allow for such precision in color, but I can see it there, so might as well do it. Same at this size. Yeah, okay, so that's it. That's it for him. He's done. Ben-Hur, Judas Ben-Hur. That's the guy. Okay, we're gonna save this, and then now's the time to decide what we want to do. So I got multiple choices. I have a long list. I also have some characters, like I said, that I did at a smaller size, I think maybe I have to try and upscale one of the guys. Let me see. I was tempted to do maybe where is he? Where is he? Don't have him there. Oh, okay. I was tempted to do this guy. I kind of like him. This pose, the Terminator. So this is more like an inspiration for the pose. I think we could do Terminator, or we could do someone. I'll need to do Rambo, Marty McFly, one of those guys. Is there a female character we could do? There's Valeria. Or I could do Carrie. The Wicked Witch might be an interesting one. I think I'm still gonna go for Terminator. Let's do a quick I'm gonna do a quick reference search. So there's two versions of him. The T-800 in so in the first, oh okay, I got if I type in T-800 I get the skeleton. That's the first film, first version, and then that's still in the first film when he attacks the police precinct. This is when he's in the disco bar, the Tech Noir. He's after Sarah Connor, and he's wearing the this sort of weird big army coat that he got from punks, that has been like sort of changed into a coat, sort of punk coat, and he stole this on the first punk that he kills. Did you know, by the way, did you know that this actor, I can't remember his name now. I know his name though. Terminator. We're gonna go IMDb real quick. It's crazy. You can never find a name when you're Bill Paxton. So this actor, it's interesting. This actor, Bill Paxton, is the only character that was killed by an alien and a predator and a Terminator. 3 of those big, massive, super well-known, fantastical, extraterrestrial or robotic killers. They all killed Bill Paxton on screen. So in the first Terminator, he's the punk, the very first punk that the T-800 kills, and then he steals the jacket from him, and that's what he wears up until the point where it goes into the police precinct. So he steals this from him, and then in Aliens, he's the that corporal, the Hudson character, and Hudson gets killed by one of the alien in Aliens, and also he's in Predator 2, and he plays the role of one of the cops that gets killed by the Predator. So it's interesting that he got he's the only actor who had the privilege to confront and be killed by all those three monsters. So then we can go either Terminator 1 and do him, and at that point he has two weapons. I think he has a assault rifle in one hand, which is like an AK-47 or something that looks like it, maybe not, but like, or some sort of assault rifle, and then he has a shotgun in the other hand. And that's kind of what I did there for this version of him. That's the assault on the police precinct, and that's also where he gets mostly disfigured, and some of his faces is he's shot off in that, and he has the big no, actually, let me see. No, that's before he gets the red eye before, when during his confrontation with Kyle Reeves in the Tech Noir, and then he goes back to his motel, and then takes off, removes the bad eye, and puts the sunglasses on so that we can't see the Terminator eye. See, that's the version. So he has this thing. I think it's a Uzi actually. He has an Uzi in one hand and the shotgun in the other hand. Or we can do Terminator as he is in Terminator 2, which is this version. And it's honestly very similar. He has the same kind of gray t-shirt, and then the black and then black leather jacket, black leather pants, and the shotgun. So it's quite similar anyway. I think they did this on purpose. Probably it became sort of his signature. I don't think this is as iconic for the Terminator, this outfit, as this is, you know, like the all black leather with the glasses. So I think I'll probably do that. Let's see if sure, I'll never be, thank God for Google auto fill, because I could never spell Schwarzenegger. So let's see, this is kind of cool pose. That's in the arcade when he protects John Connor, the kid, for the first time, I think. That's when he's on the bike. That's the same. All of this is the same outfit. So that's it's basically all leather. The t-shirt is black in this version. In here, I think, yeah, and that's, I don't know, actually it's a kind of a dark gray t-shirt. So that's him when they attack the place, the lab, Skynet, and in order to get rid of all the files and all the traces of the research that's been done in the Terminator. It's kind of a, yeah, dark gray. We can play with that. And there you go. And that is Terminator from the first film. So the jacket is a little bit more old school, like the 80s. And he actually has still has the punk khaki pants. They're not leather pants. He's got the Uzi, and that is all leather. That is Terminator 2. So basically 1 or 2. Those are the two different ones. So what should I do? In here I clearly did Terminator 2. I think I'm going to do Terminator 2. I think it's just generally more what people remember of him. That's the first Terminator. That's the original jacket in the first part of the film. And that's the scene. There you go. That's the scene. That's the scene where Bill Paxton does his punk thing, you know, and he's antagonizing the Terminator, which is a really bad idea. Actually, that's not his jacket. That's this guy's jacket. Yeah, so he kills both of those guys, and then this guy is like, he's like on the floor in the last scene. He's kind of begging for his life, and then the scene after, you can see the Terminator took his jacket. That's this guy's jacket, but that's Bill Paxton there. Oh, lost it. So just have to choose. I think the best is probably to go for Terminator 2. It's just a matter of finding a pose that might be interesting. See on the bike. I think I'm just gonna go for really what I did. I already did all this thinking when I did the small one, so I might as well you know, stick to this. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna do Uzi or whatever, and it's kind of a mix of both films, because in the second film it doesn't have a small machine gun like this, but it doesn't really matter. So we're gonna go for this. I think I'll just upscale him real quick. T-800. We're gonna take this. Okay. So let's try and figure out what size it needs to be at. So it's pretty big. It's very tall character, so it needs to be about the same size as Robocop probably, or at least as high as the top of the hat of Indiana Jones. There anyone else we can use? No. So I think so this is 63, so we'll go 63 pixel high for that. So 63. His neighbor. Okay. There. So obviously now we have to take out the legs and everything, but you see the it's not too bad in terms of proportions, because the waistline is almost at the right height. That's about right. We can use also the Ben-Hur, gauge where the waistline should be and the shoulders. So I think it can be this can be a little higher. something like that. I'm gonna move him down there with all the other characters. There. We don't need this anymore. So now it's just really a matter of quickly going through, keeping. Oh, this will crash my Photoshop. I have to be very careful with the notes. For some reason they always crash Photoshop. Okay, so just not gonna go entirely black. Just gonna fill this with color that I picked. It's not entirely black. Close, but not quite. You see there, 11, 11, 11. For this, we'll just start with basic. It's really just adding pixels, but keeping largely everything intact. So this is fairly easy. But obviously things are going to change as we go. Legs in particular. This was supposed to be his, damaged face. This will. Now we have more pixels, so we'll be able to do this better. For now, I want him to look pretty big and impressive, so I have to widen him quite a bit. His arm is probably too short now. His proportions, they changed at this size. At 32 pixel high, all the proportions are just a little bit different. Oops. Going to also do the trick of leg a little bit shorter, so that we can So just a bit more perspective in him. Just want him just a bit bigger than everyone else. Makes sense. He's supposed to be a pretty large guy. Make him just a bit bigger compared to Sarah Connor. Yeah, right where I thought it would be. That's good. Okay. Gonna have to look at the reference for the jacket. Obviously, yeah. In order to make this a bit better. Thinking here we'll probably have good opportunity to suggest some kind of zipper there. Bit of metal against the black, just to create some contrast and visual interest. I'll probably keep his face very squared, you know, just to suggest how sort of a big, rigid character he is. We'll see how this goes. I think we'll also try to suggest the fact that he's very short hair. Although it really isn't in the film. He's not that short hair, but we'll see. We'll see this later. Okay, need to just want to find a good reference for the jacket. It's one of those bikers leather jackets. Let's see. Can we find a good picture for that? And that's not this one. This one is different. Oh, this is pretty good actually. That's for a toy, but got some good idea. Let me see. Oh, this is interesting. This is kind of cool. This is when he has the big the big minigun. He holds that big minigun, and he has a belt of those big smoke grenades around the torso. That might be a cool detail to have. If I feel like if we need something more, see, this could be cool too. Actually, I like this because this is where he has that's the Skynet attack. So he has the leather jacket, and this is the grenade launcher, and he uses those big cans. They're like smoke grenades, and puts them in this thing and fires them. So you can see there's actually, oh, this is a good detail with a little buckle, and then also we can definitely suggesting the zipper would be good, especially if there's an angle to it there, like a curve that we can do. But I wonder if I want to do this though. Yeah, pants, very simple, not much to it. Just a bit of a little seam there. Oh, and there we can do that too. Seems that there's also some zipper there, so we can try and get this. Also black. Yeah. I had only one hand that was flesh tone. I mean, technically he has black gloves on both hands because if you remember, before going to Skynet, they have to prove that he's a machine from the future. So so he cuts himself and kind of like almost unpeels the skin on his arm and shows the skeleton hand, the robotic skeleton hand, to the researcher. So because then they'll know that he'll understand what's going on right away, since he saw that hand from the first movie. They got that on the, that was the remain of what was left, the first Terminator in the first movie. So that's why after that he wears the gloves. But we can take some freedom with that. We don't have to necessarily be super accurate on everything. It's all about getting the right. Sometimes black on black's not the best. So if you can get a better read with just one hand that still has some flesh tone, then it's probably something we can afford to do. What we're gonna do? I'm going to really I'm going to block really quickly this idea. Doesn't have to be very well done. I just want to make a decision on what we're gonna do, you know. So so in a case like this, I think the best is just to you know, to try and really go for it, to try and try both, you know, and see if something looks better. As we can also cheat a little bit, suggest that this got a big muzzle, you know, from shooting the cans. Let's say he's doing this thing, and then you would have everything across. Let this across, and then it have the little canisters. It's not going to be well done, but it's just to see if how this reads and all that stuff. Is it worth doing, or should we stick to the original pose that I did? So I'll do this quickly just to get a sense for it, and we'll decide. It's probably a bit too low. And then this arm we'll do something simpler. Here we can maybe do just a normal hand. This would be, and then there would be maybe, you can suggest the little sort of belt in there. We'll see about that. Here we probably need some kind of suggestion. So it would be, this. So then here, I'm just going to copy someone's face. Ben-Hur is a good face. We're going to just steal Ben-Hur's face. I tend to always end up using same face because at this size anyway, they kind of all look similar, and it doesn't matter much because then we can we're going to do the eye thing and everything anyway, and the metal, so doesn't really matter. And eye. Oops. I kind of like this though, to be honest. There's a simplicity there that I kind of like. I like that this is quite aggressive. I feel like this is a bit too similar to everything. So, however, what we could do is this to get the best of both worlds. We steal this idea, keep it on him, and then we change this into the actual, you know, grenade launcher. Yeah, I think this would work. And here we'll give him to be more accurate to the character or that moment. We'll just give him the handgun, you know, because he has a handgun at some point in that scene that he kind of carries around. So he could have the kind of like 9mm handgun or whatever it is here in one hand. We can even do whatever. We'll figure this out. And then in the other hand, you know, he has the that launcher. Launch the grenades. There's even a. This is a good indicator of what kind of weapon that is. That's a different thing, you know. Maybe we'll have this dangling or whatnot. We'll see. And then we give him the thing there, the belt. That's not bad. I think this is a good. I think this is a good compromise. I think I get all the stuff that I like in this version. Better than this. It's a bit tame. Oops. Let's do that. Let's do that. It's just a matter of doing it well. So, let's go. I'm gonna have to suggest where the jacket stops. Here, around the waist. So we'll do the too big. I'm just gonna try and get this a bit more. Start to get things a bit cleaner now. So what we can do instead, we're gonna put this one on this side, so we won't compete too much around here, because here we have some space. So Oh, so might as well use it. To find the right value, just a bit lighter than like this. Can suggest the curve. So right in here, probably the same on both. There's probably some kind of. You can put a little bit of metal there as well. Okay, it's a bit cleaner. I'm gonna flip him real quick. Yes, it's not bad. Still has some good direction to him. To be sure that we get the shoulder and the arm, and still don't get too confused with, and we get a clear read on that last bullet there. Okay. We can do a little more thinner on the waist area. Waist. So that's the weapon. Remember this scene where he fires on all the cops, like he's breaking the big office window at the you know, maybe the 6th floor of the top of the building, and starts spreading bullets and explosive rounds and everything everywhere on all the police cars, and by the end of it, he makes an assessment and makes sure that no police got killed, you know, because he promised the young John Connor not to hurt anyone. Which is interesting because if you know a bit of a story behind this thing is when James Cameron decided that he wanted to do a Terminator, his problem was that by far obviously the most popular character was the Terminator from the first movie. More popular than Sarah Connor, more popular than Kyle Reeves, and especially with his, you know, his look and his demeanor and size and everything. He had such a presence, and he hadn't quite anticipated this. Actually, originally Arnold Schwarzenegger, he met the director for the role of Kyle Reeves, not for the part of the Terminator. he wanted to be the lead, you know, because he had just finished Conan the Barbarian, the John Milius movie, Schwarzenegger, and yeah, this had been a very big success. So it was a good opportunity for him to like a good a stepping stone for his future career. It was his first very good, serious. I mean, not so serious, but his first really good part in a major movie in Hollywood. He was more known for being a bodybuilder, and so for him, he really wanted to take advantage of that. And then when he heard about that film, he assumed that he was going to get the part of the main character, the guy who protects the Sarah Connor from the machine. But it was very clear for when he met him, it was very clear for James Cameron that he was going to be the Terminator if he was going to get a part in this film, because he just had such a face. They had lunch, and James Cameron said that for a good 5 minutes when they met, he couldn't talk. He was just fascinated, just looking at Arnold Schwarzenegger's face. You know, this big guy with this square jaw and a very chiseled face. He said that it was a very impressive presence, and he knew that he had a good Terminator there. But anyway, so when they did Terminator 2, though, it was a completely different story then, because at that point Arnold was a major superstar in Hollywood, and there was no way he would be a villain again, which was kind of a problem, right? Because when you think of Terminator, well, the Terminator, that's what he does. He kills people, he terminates. And James Cameron was in trouble because he knew that he needed the star, he needed Arnold, he needed people expected the Terminator to come back. It was called Terminator 2, and yet at the same time he said that he couldn't have just him, Arnold Schwarzenegger, a big major Hollywood superstar, come back and massacre an entire police precinct again. This would not work. So you had to find a way to turn the Terminator into the good guy, and yet he knew that doing so, there was a very, very significant risk of ruining the entire story, being ridiculous, not being faithful to the Terminator idea, well, at least the people that the idea that people had of a Terminator, and not only that, but you remember he was quite concerned because you remember how impressive and visually iconic the Terminator was, with his face, partly disfigured and all the skin off, and that part of a robotic face underneath with that red eye. It's sort of very impressive, very, very, very strong image. And he was actually quite worried that the other, whoever would be the opposition, the villain, then this guy would look better, it would look more scary, and then it would be again that the villain would take the lead, and steal the spotlight. So it was a big, it was actually a big problem, and that's why, partly why James Cameron decided to go for the T-1000 to be all liquid metal and to be able to repair himself all the time and be always pristine, because he figured at least the good Terminator would have that edge on the bad Terminator, that it would look more badass because he would still have the nice, bloody face with the red eye and everything, and that would look more badass. And then the villain looking always clean cut like a cop, then wouldn't necessarily steal the spotlight. It would be a little more forgettable. And as it turned out, it worked okay for them. It was not a bad plan, even though, again, the Terminator was so striking. The T-1000 and Jason Patric really did a good job portraying that very cold machine that is still, I think it's still arguable who's the coolest Terminator in the end, in Terminator 2, between the T-800 and the T-1000. I think it's debatable. I think they both have their own thing, so in that regard, it worked pretty well. Cameron was also very concerned about how could he come up with something that would, because he really wanted the same feel as in the first movie, where Sarah Connor and Cara Reeve, they're very much the underdogs. They're clearly at a disadvantage there. It's almost like you wonder if is there any way they're gonna get rid of that machine. It's absolutely relentless, it's indestructible. So that's where the tension came from. It came from the fact that you didn't know if there was even a way for them to come out alive from this, and being always chased by this this thing that would stop at no cost, and was also so technologically advanced that there was almost nothing you could even think of to try and stop it. And so Cameron, going into Terminator 2, he knew that he wanted the same feeling. But of course, that was different, because then because they had a Terminator with them to protect them. So then they had to come up with a menace that would be so strong and so incredible that, by comparison, the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, would look like the underdog, would look like he didn't stand a chance. And that's where they came up with the idea of the liquid metal, this thing that not only could not be killed, but could also change appearance and replicate weapons and stabbing weapons, and basically always coming back just as you had done nothing to it, because at least the first Terminator, you could see that he was getting damaged over time. But the idea with the T-1000 is that no matter how much firepower you brought at him, he would still look pristine, like nothing ever happened. So that was a pretty good idea. But they were concerned that they wouldn't be able to pull it off because of the technological challenge of representing this, representing something that's made out of liquid metal and could never get killed, could change appearance and melt into different things. It was very complicated to do, and it was in 92, I think. So it was right at that time where the CG really started to kick in. There was this film with the T-1000 was very much a landmark in the extensive use of computer-generated pictures in a film. That was very much one of the two, and the other one was about at the same time, a year earlier, I think, was Jurassic Park. And Jurassic Park was same thing. Jurassic Park, originally Spielberg was pretty determined to use the old miniatures and puppets and animatronics and all that sort of stuff. But then Stan Winston, who was at the time very much interested in, no, was it Stan Winston? No, it was not Stan Winston. It was let me see. I think who was the head there? Maybe Richard Edlund, or let me look it up real quick. I don't want to say something stupid. Who was the very well-known CG supervisor? Jurassic Park. Cast. Can't find the Steam production design. Wow, can you believe that if you go on IMDb, you can't find the name of the VFX soup right there on top with Spielberg and everyone. That's pretty messed up. That is really sad. Alrighty. Yeah, as crazy as it is. So oh, Dennis Muren. Was it Dennis Muren? Yeah, it's Dennis Muren. Yeah, so Dennis Muren, he pulled he really wanted to convince Spielberg that CG was getting stronger and stronger, and that it could be used in production into a movie, especially to make living creatures like dinosaurs. And Spielberg wasn't really convinced by that. It was, but he trusted Dennis Muren enough to let him do a test, and they did a test, and they showed some footage, a test footage of a CG dinosaur to Spielberg, and Spielberg was like, okay, just forget about the animatronics, forget about everything. We're going to do this in CG. He couldn't believe it. It was like an eye opener to him. And that was about the same time when Cameron was doing his Terminator 2. And in his case, it was more to model things like hard surface, metal and things like this. But it was the very first time that they showed, like a guy made out of metal in plain light, outside in the fire, and with all the accurate reflections on him and everything. It was crazy, really. Much better than anything that was done at the time. So those two films really were they were landmarks of in the VFX industry. This is this is a toy, but that's fine. It's still pretty good to show. It's still good reference. It's too big. I'd like to suggest this little metallic end of that, little strap there, but it's hard to understand because it's all black on black. Ideally, you'd have to make sure that it sticks out like this, but I'm not sure. But then the problem is that then you can't see the metallic part because it's on the white and it's too bright. So there's no real good solution there. It's not a good one that I can think of. It's kind of weird, you know. It's like I don't think I understand what this is. Which in that case, as well not put anything, you know. And have a little button here. It's just a pocket. Another one here. I can do a little bit of that seam there. I wonder if we can have let's see if we can suggest this. Thing is that I don't want it to look like he's wearing like things like cowboy pants or anything like this, you know. Terminator 2. Wow, I remember that film. Actually, I remember the first one too quite a bit, and what an incredible experience that was. I think a lot of you guys would probably agree with me that it was something quite special. You know, I would say that I generally don't think that a lot of sequels are very good, or a series of films, you know. And I think the Indiana Jones movies, up to the third one, are kind of an exception to this. I think the Back to the Future movies are great. They really make for a clean, consistent you know, franchise where it's all like high quality, and but there's not that many franchises that have managed to do that, in my opinion. And I think Terminator 2, I remember being quite worried about the whole idea of a sequel to Terminator, especially when I heard that then Arnold Schwarzenegger was going to be a good Terminator. You know, then I was like, oh man, they're gonna ruin it. You know, how can a Terminator be good? You know, like he's never gonna get the same edge that he had this in the first film. It's gonna be ridiculous, you know. And I remember the, the tension and the fear, you know, of that you felt for Sarah Connor and Reeve as they were chased around by the Terminator in the first film. That to me, it was like I could not even imagine for a second that a good, so to speak, Terminator, you know, and I was so worried that they were gonna just ruin the entire thing, you know, and it was such an incredible surprise. I was actually very impressed with what James Cameron did there. I saw it again, watch it again recently, and sometimes things they change, you know, the way you remember them, and I was wondering if it would still hold up, and it certainly does. That second Terminator is, I think I could even argue that it is a better film than the first one. I think it is actually, really. I think it's a more elaborate film on every level. Has better characters and just a better story and better pacing, and really something quite extraordinary, actually. Let's rotate flip our guy real quick. I think it's fine. Always size check. Bigger than Herbert West. That makes sense. I think I made Freddy a bit big. I don't know. He looks a bit big to me. I don't think Freddy needs to be very big. I mean, he's just he's a scary character, but not because he's impressive physically. It's just because of how he manipulates people's dreams and the power that he has over people. I think I'll probably go back to him, just size him down a bit. Look at that, next to her. I think it's alright. Okay. What else do we need? Try and make a better shape for this. Seems like there's So a bit of a black metal at the end. Can do that. Can give a bit of a color to this, like there's green, just so it doesn't blend too much with everything else. Every opportunity, I think, to just separate things a bit is always a good idea. Kind of like a big black cat. I wonder if I should go even a bit bigger. Because I remember this thing being pretty, doesn't look that big there now. I want it to look like a machine gun, you know. We should know a little better about guns in a case like that. Trying to think if there's anything else I can do to things a little bit more interesting. I mean, I don't think I can have this double. We'll try this, but I doubt that I can make this really. I want to make it too complex, you know. It starts to get a bit difficult to read. Maybe something like this. I'm gonna just look for a reference for the face and when it's damaged. That's from the first. That's the first one because he has the brown pants, similar jacket. I have to make sure. So His was his left eye, a left eye that was messed up in the first Terminator. And what about in Terminator 2? Was that the same eye? Because remember, you also had one visible eye at some point, but I don't remember if it was left eye or right eye. Oh, right eye, which is this one. So that's good. It's really that part, and then there's a bit of metal, and there's blood. Gee. So the top of his head is mostly intact. It's really around here. Can add just a bit, couple of dots. I have to suggest blood, but I don't want the blood to be confused with the red eye, you know. We can do black also around, because he's got this big sort of you know, black socket around, so we can maybe try and get some of that in there. Just want to see if I could change the angle a bit. Yeah, I think this looks a bit better. I think it's better angle. It's not completely, you know, sideways. So have this too. Bit better for the gun. Just a bit of shading here and there. Can suggest that strap there. It's probably enough. Not too big of too much fan of those things. I think I'm gonna just do this clean. Well, I think it's not bad. We're quite close to being done with the. Oh, I lost this again. How come? We want the this little casing to stick out and break the silhouette there. It's pretty important to do. Maybe we can just move this a bit. Something like that. Yeah, I think this is getting close now. And again, I think it's gonna be, like I said, not yesterday, but on Monday for Ben-Hur. We're gonna do the same here and let this guy rest a little bit, and hopefully when we'll come back, name him T-800 Cyberdyne model 001, I think. Such a nerd. So we have to be careful with the eye, red eye, this side. Since I flip, if I keep in this way, then it's it wouldn't be accurate. So, and yes, okay, he's holding the gun from in the left hand there, but whatever, you know, sue me. It's probably fine. I'm pretty sure a Terminator is proficient enough to be able to shoot from both hands with whatever gun he holds at that point. That seems like a decent enough Terminator. Kind of want his neck to be a little wider than him. Gives him looks a little bit bigger, I think. So maybe that's good for him. Oh yeah, it's better. It's crazy how much one pixel, what a difference it will make. Okay, Just gonna darken a bit the bottom of that leg. Wonder if his legs, or maybe, hold on, let me try something real quick. It's not quite right. That's not right either. Maybe that's the one that needs to be. Yeah, I think this is better. Wasn't too fan of how wide his hips looked. Maybe that leg looks a bit short. Maybe 2 pixels is too much. Maybe we need to yeah. I'm gonna flip him again. I think I made a mistake here by no, it's this one then. Yeah, I think this leg needs to be a little more straight. Gives him more authority, you know. Yeah, I think this is better. And I wonder, should the head just be a little less? Oh no, we can't do that. Because small head on a will always make look like the character is bigger, you know. I think it's actually better. Takes some used to, but I think when you're used to it, I think you realize that it makes him look like he's a bigger guy. If the head is comparatively a little bit smaller. What do you think? I think it's better. I think I don't mind the small head with the big body for him. And again, they're not going to be sitting right next to each other in any circumstance anyway. So yeah, I think I like this better. So I think I'm gonna probably stop the stream soon. We did gave the last little bit of polish to Ben-Hur, and we managed to almost finish a Terminator. So I think it's not a bad night, all things considered. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna stop now. You guys can tell me what you think. We're gonna give him a shadow, the usual usual treatment for everyone. In this case, probably do something a bit different. I don't know how to. Is it too big? Is this this weapon a bit too massive now? Wonder if it's a bit ridiculous. Like this. This is some sort of. I remember there's some sort of stuff on it, like one of those aims, but, you know, sights. But I'll look that up if I can find the actual. Oh, there's no this part though doesn't have to be there. Just notice this. This is a legacy from the previous weapon, which is better because this will make this much clearer. And we can have this attached to some sort of metallic part, maybe. Do something maybe there. Not too sure about this area. I think also maybe one last thing. If I should try and just separate his arm from the stock of the weapon a little bit, because might be a bit confusing. Even though, I mean, technically, I think it's pretty straight, you know, but I think it's fine to do this. Just to allow for the arm to read a bit better, have a more interesting shape and volume. I think I'll mess up with this tomorrow a bit before posting on Instagram. Actually, tomorrow I will probably post Ben-Hur and we'll post him a little later. Maybe maybe on Friday. I think I'm alright with that for now. Yeah, let's keep this, call it a day, and then this is it. Ben-Hur and Terminator T-800, separated by what, 50 years, and both are really good, very different movie characters. So okay guys, thank you for being here. I actually found today, I was actually happy, forgot to tell you guys about this, but I saw completely by accident and stumbled on this guy this morning called Marco Val. He's a Portuguese artist, game artist and teacher from Portugal, and he was doing a live stream this morning. He did a mock-up screen of some sort of fake 2D platformer, pixel art platformer from Tomb Raider. It was quite fun to watch. I was happy to see someone streaming pixel art like I do, and you can go and see his stream. He's a pretty good guy. I'm gonna host him whenever I have the opportunity, but we're not gonna be online, unfortunately, at similar times because he's in Europe, so that's a bit of a shame. But let me quickly find his Where is his thing? Oh. I don't even know how to find the people that you that's crazy. Hold on. Oh, there. Yeah. I'm gonna paste it in the chat. If someone's still around, and there, and I recommend you guys follow him. He's doing some really good stuff. He's done some really interesting things on Pico 8. If you guys are familiar with this little virtual console that has only 8 colors, and with 8 colors he did some really interesting things. So yeah, I hope I'll probably go and watch his previous streams, and you can do the same. Watch all my previous streams up until 2 months. They'll be recorded, and then there'll be then the old ones after 2 months they'll be pushed out and by the new ones coming in. But that gives you way more than enough content to watch, at least for a 2 month period. That's going to be a lot of streams. So okay, thank you guys. Appreciate the support and all the follows that I get. I get a couple of hours every day, so that's good, you know, slowly but surely building a community, hopefully. And so I'll be back on Friday. It's gonna be 8:30 on Friday, and we'll see what we'll do. Probably another character. Maybe I'll do something different this time, because I've been doing quite a few characters in a row, so maybe we'll do something different. I don't know. Okay guys, so I'm gonna end it now. Thank you. If you're on the East Coast, be safe with the hurricane. Hopefully it's been downgraded. Should be, I hope it'll be not as bad as they say it's gonna be. So okay, I'll see you guys on Friday. Thank you very much. Bye.